How's it going, guys? It's me, jblader, back on the BattleCraft SMP. This pack is available online on the Modrin launcher if you want to play along. Today we're going to be going over some competitive Pokemon tips and tricks for your Cobblemon world. There are some limitations compared to normal Pokemon or even Pixelmon. But if you're playing in Cobblemon, then stick around. I'll show you how to EV train. We're going to go over mints, and we're going to go over IVs and even drafting up teams. If you want a more individual tutorial that is maybe a little bit more to the point, then you may want to check out some of the other tutorials here on my channel, or maybe tutorials here to come. This is not going to be a very extremely concise, like this is what this mint does specifically. I'm going to go over all the things theoretically, as well as show you how to do them. So, with that being said, the first thing you need to do, once you get resources, once you get Pokeballs, once you got armor, once you got everything you need, you're ready to start doing some training or some preparation for your Cobblemon adventures, is I recommend getting a... Oh my gosh, this thing is good too. I recommend getting a Pokemon that is strong enough to help you catch things, or you need to get some Pokeballs that are going to work great. Of course, here I've got Ultra Balls. What you can do is just pick a Pokeball like the Rosette Balls, something that is not super strong, but that are just really easy to make, and you can just spam them over and over and over and over and over again. So once you make those and you're ready to catch some Pokemon, we've got a little add-on here that if I go up and shift, I can see what the IVs are. See there, we got ability. We're going to ignore the nature for now. IVs, 21, 20, blah, blah, blah. Every Pokemon is going to have individual IVs. See there, 52%, 59, 23, 27, stuff like that. We're going to be looking for very specific IVs, and we want a higher number. That's 71%. That is very good. We want to get it, 80% or higher, 59%. But every Pokemon's going to have an individual number, and there's some numbers that simply don't matter on certain Pokemon, and that will save you a lot of time, energy, and effort. To show you this, let me show you some of the Pokemon that I've decided to use. So let's take a look at my Galvantula here. Galvantula, you'll see it's 70%, which isn't great, but what it has is 30 IVs in HP, 8 attack, 25, 28, 16, 25. IVs range from 0 to 31, so that 30 is almost perfect. We're going to try to get somewhere between 25 and 31. These are going to make their stats go up at level 100 or even level 50 by like 5 to 10 points, maybe even more at level 100. So our Galvantula is never going to be using its attack stat. So its attack stat being 8 doesn't matter at all. It is totally fine just having 8 attack. But Gardevoir is never going to be using its attack stat. It's always going to be using its special attack stat. One last example, 7 special attack on this Annihilate. It's never going to be using special attack at all. It's always going to be a physical attacker. So you're going to be looking around for Pokemon that have those good IVs. Closer to 31, the better. The higher the percentage, the better. Once you figure out what Pokemon you want to use competitively, then you're going to start looking for them in the wild. I recommend checking a website called Smogon. They've got a bunch of tier lists of different Pokemon you can use. Just keep in mind that Cobblemon does have some limitations. On the Cobblemon pack, there are some limitations, such as not all of the TMs are in the game, so some Pokemon, like that Annihilate, really needs a TM like Bulk Up in order to be competitively great. It still is a great Pokemon, even in Cobblemon, but Bulk Up makes it insanely broken. So because we don't have TMs, we're going to be kind of wanting to use Pokemon that get naturally really good moves in their natural level up moveset. All of this is on the Cobblemon wiki. So Pokemon that have natural moves that are just good with their set is what we're going to be using. Like this Lilligant here gets some great moves just on level up, but TMs are not in the game yet. Once they are, you can add those, but for now, that may influence which Pokemon you use, so I just wanted to make that point very clear. Well, it's time for us to catch a Pokemon that I want to use. I am on the lookout for kind of a new addition to my team. I'm looking for another kind of special sweeper. So I haven't explored in this direction all the way, and I kind of want to set up some create stuff over there. So I'm going to fly that way, and we'll be keeping an eye out for some rare Pokemon once we get over there. So just to recap, step 1, we're going to figure out which Pokemon we want to use and catch them. I also just kind of recommend catching a bunch of different Pokemon. The more the merrier. The more options you have to choose from, the best thing. So every time you see a Pokemon with a good IV, or one that you want to use, I would catch it. I find the best way to find Pokemon that I'm looking for is to either find or create a flat area like this. This gravel field here will give us a ton of different Pokemon that will spawn in the surrounding biomes, and I can just run around and very quickly shift click them. If it's not what I'm looking for, I can force a despawn by running over here to like this village and then coming back. Here's a Pokemon I've been looking for. We've got a Gimmighoul here. I haven't caught one of these yet. The IVs on this aren't great. 15 special attack. We really want that to be higher. But the 31 speed is impressive. But for the collection, I'll catch one. I caught a few different Pokemon that are quite good, but this one is the one that piqued my interest the most. A Shelder that has almost perfect IVs across the board. A little low on the special defense, but we can deal with that. This spot is super good because there's just a ton of different Pokemon spawning here. Like the little Dreepies and Slowpokes. Growlithe. It's a fun little spot. So now that you've got your Pokemon figured out, I know that on Smogon, it's going to tell me that my Shelder needs a Jolly or an Adamant Nature. And because it's 26 speed, I'm going to go with Jolly Nature. So what we're going to need next is Mints. Mints are things that spawn naturally in the world, and you can also craft them into specific nature mints and feed them to a Pokemon, and it changes their nature. If you're flying around your world, I usually find mints about 10 blocks above sea level, and I find them more often on the sides of mountains or mountainous biomes. These are the blue mints, and there are 5 mint colors that you need. I'm sorry, there are 6 mint colors that you need. Green, white, red, cyan, blue, and pink. Once you've collected enough of these seeds, you can plant them and harvest them again with bone meal. This will allow you to craft a bunch of different types of mints over here, and we're going to be making one now. The different combinations of colors gives us different natures, and this is going to affect the stats of the Pokemon. The Jolly Mint is going to do plus speed nature. It'll raise our speed stat by 10%, lower our special attack by 10%. So that's what we're going to be using to apply this. Send out the Pokemon, right click, and now you'll see Shelder stats have been changed. It says Jolly Minted. We also need to change the ability of this Pokemon. You see it as Shell Armor, and we want Skill Link. For that, we're going to be making an item called an Ability Capsule. The Ability Capsule is a Max Revive, a Serious Mint, Bottle of Enchanting, Blaze Powder. The easiest way to get this is with Villager trading. Kill a Blaze in the end. This is a few honey bottles, and a Serious Mint is white mints. So, one Ability Capsule, we're going to right-click, like that, and Shelder's ability change to Skill Link. While I've got this here, it evolves with a Water Stone. So we're going to go ahead and evolve it into a Cloyster. There we go. Next up, let's talk about EV training. Every time you defeat a Pokemon, you're going to get EVs. See there, it says EVs 0%, right? Let's go to my Lilligant, and you'll see that it is fully EV trained, which means it's at 100%, 3 HP, 252 attack, 2 defense, 1 special attack, 0 special defense, and 252 speed. You get about 510 points in total. They're called effort values in total. So you usually are going to put 252 in one stat, 252 in another, and then 8 in another stat. If you're not sure how to EV train or what stats to EV train in, again, I recommend checking out Smogon or some other Pokemon builds. For this Cloyster, we're going to be doing speed and attack. Those we're going to be maxing. So we're going to be using something called power items. The power items are going to guarantee 10 EVs of each stat every time you defeat a Pokemon. The power weight, you're going to be crafting with diamonds, lime concrete, white mint leaves. This is going to give you 10 HP. We'll do a power lens. This is 10 special attack. Anklet, 10 speed. Belt, I think this one is defense. Band, I think, is special defense. I might have those backwards, but yes, power band is special defense. Power belt is defense. Often forget. So since we're going to be wanting to EV train this in attack and speed, I'm going to shift right click and give it the power bracer to hold. Now we're going to go around and find Pokemon that give the correct EVs, and we're going to defeat them. By defeating them, we will get an EV point plus the 10 from the item. Over here, there's a Ponyta. Ponyta's highest stat is speed. And because of that, it'll give 1 speed EV. If you see there, EV yield 1 speed. So I'm going to battle it. We're going to take it out. Oh, this thing's level 40. So you can also do switch training. That's just where you switch out to another Pokemon to take it out. And the EVs are still going to go through. So let's just take this thing out real quick. There's a horse in my way. So now if we go to Cloister, we check its EVs, you'll see we got the 8 EVs for attack. I'm sorry, 8, not 10. 8 EVs for attack and 1 for speed, which means we're 1% done. So we're going to repeat this step over and over again until it is fully EV trained. This is also a great way to like just level up your Pokemon. So 2 attack here, we're going to be needing that. So switch train. Let's go into Dugtrio. Hopefully Dugtrio doesn't get one shot. It's not very defensively strong. Survive. Yeah. So there's no really other faster way to do this in the game. It's just going to take you some time there. We're at 3%. There's 18 attack. We want to get that to... So we basically want it to be like a few in EVs and HP, and then max attack, 252 attack, 252 speed. That's the goal. So I'm going to get to work doing that. Something to keep in mind, while the power items are equipped, your Pokemon will be slower. It's basically going to have their speed in the order, so if you're getting outsped by things that you should be faster than, that is why. Let's take one moment to talk about different items in the game, and that would be battle items. You have a few items that are going to be really crucial for your competitive battling on a server. The berries can be huge helps. Berries like the Shuka Berry and the Kibia Berry, they are going to have the damage taken from super effective types of certain moves. So you can try to get some of those. You also have berries that heal HP, heal status effects. Next up, you have the gems. If a Pokemon is holding a gem and it uses a type of move that corresponds with the gem, it is going to power up that move. So for a fighting type, like my Lilligant, I could give it the fighting gem and it would power up its next fighting type attack. Then you've got a bunch of different items that are going to be useful, like these battle items here, from the Absorb Bulb, Air Balloon, all the way down to the power items, and we've even got some on these next 2 pages. These are evolutionary items and items that are going to be useful in battles. Items like the Toxic Orb are going to toxic your Pokemon, and those that have like Toxic Heal or Guts, you may want to toxic them so that it is a strategy in battle to make them stronger. Items like the Rocky Helmet will make it so that if they get hit, then they will do Thorns damage to the enemy. And items like the Choice Scarf will make your Pokemon faster to make sure that it goes first. It basically doubles your speed, but you can only move 1 move. And items like the Choice Scarf will make your Pokemon faster, but locks you into 1 move. Cloister is going to utilize a white herb, and you're going to get this by planting revival herbs and using different types of mulch. I think the surprise mulch has a chance of giving these different types of herbs. And you can make mulches by dirt, some paper, bunches of different recipes for different mulches. So if you need those, you can check out the inventory UI, or you can check it out on the wiki. And then once you've got your EV trained Pokemon, like my Lilligant here, we're just going to need to level it up to, all the way, like to level 100, I guess, or whatever level the battles are going to be in your gym or your Cobblemon server. So get your strategy hats out, go on Pokemon Showdown, think of different team compositions and different Pokemon that you can utilize that maybe are appearing around you while you're playing, or go hunting for something rare, maybe like a Dragonite, and get ready to build your teams, impress all your friends, or win that next tournament. Thank you guys for tuning in to this video. If it was helpful for you, please leave a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe, because I do videos like this here on the channel all the time. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a fantastic day.